Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson also dropping out of the Republican race. 5 News reporter Kayla Davis spoke with a political science professor at the University of Arkansas Fort Smith about his campaign and what's next for his political future.
After placing 6th in the Iowa Republican caucuses, former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson is dropping his bid for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. He fell behind other nominees like former President Donald Trump, Governor Ron DeSantis, and former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley, including Ryan Binkley, a pastor who failed to qualify for any debates. Dr. Williams Yamcam says his unsuccessful campaign had much to do with his traditional political beliefs and stances.
He had a vision for where the Republican Party ought to go and where the country ought to go. And he stood by that vision, regardless of the criticism inside the Republican Party within the base itself, and regardless of his lack of support among inside the Republican Party, he stood with that vision.
Hutchinson hovered around the 1% approval mark for the majority of his campaign. Dr. Yamcam believes dropping with those ratings was a wise decision.
If you're not moving in the polls, then what's the rationale for you staying in the race? And also, that makes it harder for volunteers to join your campaign. It makes it harder for you to raise funds. It makes it harder for you to get your message out.
To the disapproval of many Iowan audience members, Hutchinson announced he would not support Trump if he was convicted of any of his 4 criminal cases when asked about the former president holding office. Hutchinson said in an interview leading up to the final Iowa pollings, Trump has negatively redefined the Republican Party and is a weak candidate.
With Trump having that kind of a lead in the primary, my responsibility and other candidates is to take on the front runner if you don't agree that he's the right one. We've been doing that, and there might be a short-term price for that, but long-term, fear-mongering and grievances only take you so far.
Hutchinson said, quote, "My message of being a principled Republican with experience and telling the truth about the current front-runner did not sell in Iowa."
He must be commended for standing by his vision, by what he thought was wrong with his party, and by disagreeing with the vision that President Trump and others, the visions of America that President Trump, Governor DeSantis are trying to sell to America.
Another competitor, Vivek Ramaswamy, also dropped out of the race Monday night after finishing 4th in Iowa. The GOP presidential race continues today in New Hampshire for Trump, DeSantis, and Haley. Covering news where you live, Kayla Davis, 5 News.